When he locked the door, I knew this wasn't about the music anymore. I whispered, "Stay calm, son," but he stepped closer. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. It wasn't about fear. It was about control. When I married Daniel's father, I knew it wouldn't be easy. Blending families never is. Daniel was 16 then, quiet, intense, already taller than most grown men. Now at 19, he stood nearly a head above me. Broad shoulders, heavy footsteps, a presence that filled a room before he even spoke. But this story isn't about size. It's about silence. The kind of silence that stretches so tight it feels like it might snap. His father had been traveling more for work, weeks at a time, and in that space the house changed, the air changed, Daniel changed. He stopped calling me Mom a long time ago, switched to my name, then eventually nothing at all. Just looks. Long, unreadable looks. That night started with something small. It always does. I had asked him to lower the music. It was past midnight, and I had an early morning. I knocked on his door twice before opening it. "Daniel, please," I said gently, "turn it down." He didn't move at first, just stood there near his desk, staring at me like I had interrupted something important. "It's my house, too," he said quietly. His voice wasn't loud. It was steady. "I know," I replied carefully. "I'm just asking for respect." He walked toward me slowly. Not aggressively. Not violently. Just slowly. And that's when I felt it. The shift. He stopped only inches away, towering over me. I swallowed and whispered, "Stay calm, son." But he stepped closer. "Stop calling me that," he said. The words weren't shouted, they were sharp, controlled. "I'm trying," I said, my voice softer than I intended. "I'm trying to be here for you. You're not my mother." I never said I was. The silence after that felt louder than the music ever had. I stepped back first. Not because he pushed me. Because something in his eyes told me this wasn't about music anymore. This was about years of unspoken resentment. "Daniel," I tried again, "what is this really about?" He laughed once, dry. "You want to know?" "Yes." "You replaced her." The words hit harder than I expected. "I didn't replace anyone," I whispered. "You sleep in her room." I flinched. That room. The master bedroom. The one his mother once shared with his father before she passed. "I didn't choose that," I said carefully. "Your father did. But you stayed." There it was. The truth beneath everything. I stayed. And to him, that meant something. The next morning, I called his father. "He's angry," I said, "but it's deeper than teenage anger." His father sighed on the other end. "He'll adjust." "He's not adjusting." "What do you want me to do? Quit my job?" That conversation ended with no resolution. Just like most of ours lately. 2 days later, it happened again. We were in the kitchen. I was making dinner. He walked in, grabbed a glass, and stood behind me longer than necessary. "Daniel," I said without turning, "if you have something to say, say it. You think you understand me." "I'm trying to." "You don't." I finally turned around. He was so close this time, I had to tilt my head up. "Then help me," I said softly. "Tell me what you need." His jaw tightened. "I need you to stop pretending this is normal. Blended families are normal. Not when someone's trying to erase the past. I'm not erasing your mother." His voice rose slightly for the first time. "Then stop acting like this is your house." That hurt. Because I had poured myself into this home, into dinners, into laundry, into trying. "I'm not your enemy," I said quietly. "Maybe not," he replied, "but you're not innocent either." That night, I stood outside his door again. This time, I didn't knock. I spoke through it. "I know you're angry," I said, "and maybe you have every right to be, but pushing me away won't bring her back." The door opened suddenly. He stood there, eyes red not from rage. From something else. You don't get to talk about her. You're right, I said immediately. I don't. His voice cracked then just slightly. You weren't there. No, I whispered. I was. For the first time, he didn't step closer to intimidate. He stepped closer because he was breaking. And I let him. Not physically. Emotionally. He pushed further, not with his body but with his pain. I had to watch her fade, he said, and then a year later you're here. I felt the weight of that. The guilt of simply existing in a space someone else once filled. I can't replace her, I said softly, and I don't want to. Then what are you? The hardest question of all. I swallowed. I'm someone who loves your father, and someone who wants to care about you, even if you never call me Mom. He looked away. And for the first time since I'd known him, he didn't look angry. He looked tired. Weeks passed after that conversation. Not perfect weeks, but quieter ones. The tension shifted. One evening, as I set the table, he spoke from the doorway. You don't have to whisper, stay calm anymore. I blinked. What? I'm not trying to fight you. I nodded slowly. I wasn't trying to fight you either. I know. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't warmth. But it was a beginning. Sometimes when people read a title like this, they expect something scandalous. Something forbidden. But the truth, the real tension, wasn't physical. It was emotional. Grief can look like anger. Pain can look like intimidation. And sometimes the biggest person in the room is carrying the heaviest weight. That night when I whispered, stay calm, son, I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of losing any chance to reach him. And when he stepped closer, I let him push further, not into something wrong, but into something honest. Into the truth he had been holding in for years. Now I want to ask you something. Was I wrong for staying? Was he wrong for feeling replaced? If you were in my position, would you have handled it differently? Comment below. I read every single one. And if this story made you feel something, if it reminded you that not all battles are loud, and not all tension is what it seems, like this video and subscribe. Because sometimes the hardest stories are the ones happening inside the same house. And trust me, there's always more beneath the surface.